Hello, my name is Alejandra. Today I have the great pleasure to tell you all about a wonderful collective. It's called Parcham. Now, for those of you who do not know this already, Parcham is an Urdu word that means banner, or a flag carried by revolutionaries in protest. And indeed, the women who run Parcham are revolutionaries. They chose the word because of their own context within a Muslim ghetto where most women wear the veil. And they chose the word Parcham inspired by Majaz's poem who wrote the following stanza. The cloth covering your head is beautiful, but it would be even more beautiful if you used it as a flag of revolt. One of the women who run Parcham is Sabah Khan. She is the wonderful person you'll be seeing in this course. Sabah is one of the 6 women who constitute Parcham's core group. Now let's get to it. Parcham stands for a just and equal society that is respectful of diversity, but not just respectful. The Parcham Collective works with adolescent girls to create a world where difference is not only accepted but celebrated. Let me explain. Parcham is based in Mumbai, a suburb of Mumbai's metropolitan area in India. There, the women who run the collective work to empower marginalized communities so that they can access their fundamental rights. They accomplish this by creating spaces for dialogue amongst diverse sections in society and by collaborating with governments and civil society towards justice and equity. Specifically, at Parcham, they believe misogyny, hate for the Muslim, and homophobia all stem from the inability to accept difference and a skewed understanding of power. So they work to build bridges between communities which have been divided by misconceptions and animosity. At Parcham, they follow an intersectional feminist politics, drawing parallels between oppression based on identity to build solidarities based on the commonality of oppression. One of their well-known programs is football for adolescent girls living in Muslim ghettos and slums. This initiative challenges stereotypes of the oppressed Muslim women while claiming their rights to public space, visibilizing the presence of women in public space, building friendship by forming teams of young girls from communities who have been taught to hate the other, exposing the agenda of hate dividing women so they do not come together to challenge patriarchy, talking about equality and finance independence. Football is interspersed with activities to build perspective on a range of issues affecting them. The Parcham Collective is now training women to become football coaches, addressing the glaring gender gap in the area of football coaching, while encouraging a non-mainstream profession for women. They have used their learning to influence urban spatial planning, which is often the forte of NGOs headed by men. Parcham's activism is profoundly innovative in that they are providing a gendered lens on urban issues and spatial planning, engendering the dialogue on urbanism. They advocate for women-friendly public spaces and playgrounds. And they were successful in getting the first ever governmental reservation for a sports ground exclusively for girls in the state, and probably the country, to promote their participation in sports and games. Parcham works with Muslims youth to bring out an informed secular voice and to challenge the stereotype of Muslims as fundamentalists and the misconception that their thoughts and commitments are limited to religion. They do this through a citizenship program publishing a quarterly newsletter of the secular Muslim voice. The Parcham Collective is changing the belief that activism with Muslim women needs to be limited to closed confined spaces of the office and home or matrimonial issues. Unless they are able to get the women out of the home, there is no question of their participation in the formal workspace or in positions of power and financial independence, which is critical to owning and making decisions about one's life. Parcham is a feminist and women-led organization which works with Muslim youth across all genders and is already changing the civic space for dozens of people, making their environment a more welcoming and joyous one.